And in New York, we're watching, monitoring, we can't watch because of the rules, of the Sean Diddy Combs sex trafficking trial. On the stand now is Cassie Ventura's mother, and that's where we're headed right now. We are going to check in with our Kelly Craft for our hourly update on the Diddy trial. All right, Cassie's mom on the stand. Paint the picture for us.
Hey there, Ted. Yes, although no cameras here in the federal courthouse, we can bring it to you because we are here watching. And I'm going to tell you about some interesting jury reactions in just a moment. But yes, Cassie Ventura's mother is on the stand. Her name is Regina Ventura, and she's referring to Cassie as Cassandra. Every time she's asked about her, she refers to her as Cassandra. Something interesting that she just talked about is that Sean Combs demanded money from them. This was after that Kid Cudi incident in which Sean Combs was claiming that she was cheating on him with Kid Cudi. Well, they had a bookkeeper contact the Ventura family when Ventura was back there. Cassie was back there at her parents' home demanding $30,000, saying, this is how much money I've been spending on your daughter and I want it back. So Regina's talking about taking out a home equity loan, and then they wired the money. The bookkeeper for Sean Combs gave them the wire information, the wire transfer information. They wired $30,000 to Sean Combs because she said she feared for her daughter's safety, because at this time she was looking at her daughter and she noticed signs of abuse. She also documented those injuries on her daughter through photographs. So that was a really interesting point, talking about that exchange of money. She did testify that they eventually got that $30,000 back. So interesting so far with her on the stand. They are going to lunch really soon. So she just got on the stand a short time ago. She has been very soft-spoken and just answering the questions very matter-of-factly. I also want to briefly just talk about some jury reactions. This is when somebody else was on the stand, but I know you're going to ask me about David James, so I'll wait for your question.
Kelly Craft, you jumped the gun. I do want to point out, though, those photos that the Department of Justice released. You've brought them to us on air, and we were just showing them while you were talking of Cassie's injuries, those ones that you said her mother is talking about. I mean, they tell you 1,000 words when it comes to if the jurors believe these were caused by the defendant in this case. But what can you tell us about the personal assistant who was on the stand? He started yesterday and I assume wrapped up today.
Yeah, David James, the ex-personal assistant of Sean Combs, on the stand. So when he was done with his testimony, Julia and Ted, he got off the stand and then he did like a head nod to Sean Combs, and Sean Combs returned it. He did the head nod right back at him. When he was on the stand, he was asked about what drugs did he see Sean Combs take, and he was talking about ecstasy, and he said one of the pills was in the shape of President Obama's face. That got some kind of reaction from the jury, as if they just kind of acknowledged it, or, oh, interesting, President Obama is on one of these pills that Sean Combs was taking. So that was an interesting note from inside the courtroom. We want to put up some testimony for you because, again, federal court can't bring you the sound, but we can bring it to you through AI as well as transcript testimony, and here through full screen. So he's the ex-assistant, he's the advanced guy, and he has been talking about how he would stock those hotel rooms with so many items, that Astroglide, condoms, as well as baby oil. He did feel at a time that his life was in danger as he was working as Combs' assistant. He said he was ordered to drive Combs to confront rival record mogul Suge Knight. Combs had 3 guns on his lap. He said he gave his notice soon after that incident. He said at that time, that's when he was fearful of his life. We also can put up another full screen with some testimony in which he was talking about Combs' business sense. He said he knew Combs to be a successful, self-made businessman who was a brilliant marketer. I just respect Mr. Combs from a business perspective. Another thing he was asked earlier when he was talking about in regard to the mobs of people, that when Sean Combs would go out, he couldn't even go out, he said, because he would just be mobbed with people wanting access to him. He was asked on cross-examination, well, was Sean Combs gracious to these people? And he said, I would not describe Sean Combs as a gracious man. Julia and Ted.
Kelly, can I ask you a really quick question? I know we have to let you go, but because you mentioned that about David James and the way that he interacted a bit with Sean Combs, do you get the sense that these witnesses who are coming in, that they are there in a willing manner, or if they are rather reluctant to come in to this courthouse and testify against Sean Combs?
Absolutely reluctant, Julia. Yes, absolutely reluctant. We heard that from Carrie Morgan yesterday. This is the ex-best friend of Cassie Ventura. She said she did not want to be there, and she was happy to be away from these people and their problems. David James, he was coming across just very straightforward, both sides. Even when there were some contentious questions from defense counsel, he's just coming across very straightforward, talking about how this was his life. He lived in the moment. He worked for Sean Combs. He was required to work until 4 a.m. in the morning and then be back again, basically early in the morning again to get the day prepared. But he definitely did not want to be here either.
If you complain about being tired, you find yourself fired. Kelly Craft.
Fired.
Kelly.
Fired.
Yeah,
you can use that, Ted.
Yeah. Give Kelly a head nod.
Well, you're filled with energy in New York. New York just fills you with energy.
Absolutely. Kelly, we'll wait for your next update. There again, Kelly says they're going to the lunch break soon, but Cassie's mom on the stand still with us. Former prosecutor, defense attorney Marie Pereira. This trial is something else, and boy, if we had cameras, this would be off the charts. But just hearing Kelly's description of the thing, 3 guns on the laps when they're going to go confront Suge, and then everything else that's going into this, it is something else. And you wonder, Marie, if the jury will keep focus on the charges that are alleged here and not enter into at the end of the day, jury nullification and say, I have just seen so much bad stuff about this dude, I don't care, he's guilty.
So far, the prosecution is building the case, but so far, I don't see RICO. This case seems to be about PMS. It's about power, money, and sexual sadism on the part of Puffy. Clearly, he abused that girl. It was terrible what he did, but all I'm seeing so far is domestic violence and someone who is a sadist and who exercised power and money over Cassie Ventura. Was it consensual? Well, we don't know yet. But from what we're seeing, that injury on her eyebrow, that was a deep, almost like a puncture wound. It wasn't just a scrape or an abrasion. So it certainly helps to show that she was an abused person and she was afraid of him. But was everybody else, and was there no consent in these freak fests? That's the problem. Did he just find pleasure in watching that poor girl choke on urine and be urinated on? Is that his thing? And was that her thing? We're there, but again, let's remember, we're here for RICO, and I haven't seen it yet, but it's a buildup, and they're laying the foundation to show his power and control and how he was able to do that to all of those people through fear, coercion, and sadism. Let's wait and see. Wow.
Marie, do you get the sense, when you think about this from a legal standpoint, that the government went in after the Cassie Ventura lawsuit, saw these horrible things that she was alleging, they got everything they could from his homes, and looking at the evidence they had, they felt that this was the only thing they could get him on?
Absolutely. And I believe, I don't know this for sure, but I'm thinking that they told Cassie, based on what you are accusing him of, we can get him on this if you cooperate. If you don't want to cooperate with us, one would think that you might be doing a Ghislaine Maxwell, because you planned it, you picked out the people you were having sex with, you were part of the conspiracy to draw these people in. Even though you became a victim, you were part of the system that allowed him to traffic these people. So if you don't cooperate with us, you could be a defendant or you can be a victim. You pick. I can imagine this conversation had to take place with her attorneys. That's why she's here telling everything what happened. Who would want someone to know that someone urinated in your mouth? Why would she do that? Because she already had sued him and got the money. It's either you cooperate or you become a defendant. I believe that's what happened.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess you could make that argument-ish. I mean, Ghislaine Maxwell wasn't, tortured the same way. I don't think she was more of a buddy. But it's a good point you make, Marie, that to get her full cooperation, either she was motivated to do it. When you think about it, why would you want the public to know everything? And you already have your $20 million in the bank. That's not You know, a lot of times people who have a civil case pending, then they'll go to criminal trial because they know it's going to help on the other end. But she already had that.
And Kelly said they're reluctant to come in, but they are there because of that subpoena.
What do you
Not
think
saying
of
that was Cassie,
him getting 30 G's out of the mom?
Oh,
that's diabolical. I mean, the one thing is, we know that they've proved beyond the reasonable doubt, you know, in terms of human beings, he's way over on this end. And I can't see him, even if he's found not guilty, popping out, hey, you guys want to work with me, a collab on a new album? You know, I mean, he's done. I
was shocked that it was only $30,000 that he paid. Was it Carrie Morgan in order to just go away, keep quiet about everything that happened? That seemed like a very low number. Yeah. In terms of
you know what
he was dealing with.
Let's just remember it was Cassie who met with the person that he allegedly assaulted with the hanger and told her, you know what, forget about it, sign this NDA. Cassie, according to what I heard, is the one who negotiated and met up with the woman and settled. That doesn't look good either. If you were such a victim, why are you helping people who could maybe help you to get him and get rid of that person?
Right. So the question is she like many other victims who are drawn into the abusive world and can't get out and then defend their abuser? We see that all the time. It's like, you know, oh no, he's really a nice guy. You don't understand all of it. Or was she pulled by fame and fortune and that's why she stayed? That'll be up to the jury to decide, because if she's doing it willingly, completely willingly, then it's a difficult.
Force or fame. That's the new title for this trial.
Yeah, force or fame.
Is it force or fame?